In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
Okay, here we are. Another episode of Escape from the Legal Matrix, an attorney's exodus from legal bondage with yours truly, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Home of, they call it Fort Liberty now, but I hate that name. Here at formerly called Fort Bragg, North Carolina, one of the largest Army posts in the United States. So, we've been talking about in past episodes about what the legal matrix is and different and various subjects. And what I want to talk to you about today, tonight, or whatever time zone you're in, maybe it's early in the morning, maybe we're up, listen to this, and that's good. You should. So we want to talk about, essentially, why should you listen to me? I mean, I would ask that question. When I see people who are these so-called legal coaches, leaders on all the social media platforms, I wonder if many times they live in truth. Are they being totally forthright in their lives and how they're living it? Or are they just feeding you lines of bullshit? So let's talk about that for a minute, about what it looks like in the pain that you're in and what it looks like when it's fixed. And does Bryce D. Nyer walk the talk? Okay. So let's kind of go back in time a bit that we kind of discussed before. So when I decided to go to law school, I was in my 20s and I was a captain in the Army. And again, things, were going good. There were some hiccups in the road, like in every profession. And I made that decision to go. But I did not know all the ins and outs of the legal profession. Nobody does. You sit there and again, you read the description of law schools. You have this great feeling about your endeavor, your future, and your path. And you have these illusions of all these TV shows or movies you may have seen about lawyers and how it seems. And honestly, that's just Hollywood. It's not always like that. There are some TV shows or movies that in some scenes are realistic, but it doesn't give the overall perspective of living in the legal matrix. So as I moved forward through the years, it wasn't really till about 2018, after numerous years of litigating, I realized what a prison I was in. I mean, my whole life was just like, it just came to a standstill. I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, I was looking in the mirror. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And again, I hate everything. I felt like this prisoner. I felt like, God, I'm this hamster on a treadmill that's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. And I hated that feeling. And maybe, just maybe, you have that feeling too. Maybe you are thinking about law school and you feel like your life is going nowhere. You're not sure what to do. You're in your senior year of college. And you're like, well, I got nothing else better to do. Hell, I'll just go to law school for 3 years, something to do. Or maybe you're already in law school and you're wondering, God, man, is this really what I want? Or you're in your last year of law school, getting ready to take the, prep for the bar exam after graduation. You're doing all these job interviews and something's just not maybe sitting right with you. Or maybe You've been in practice for 5 years, maybe more. And you just wake up and there's this pain in your side, this thorn in your side. And you're like, God, there's just got to be something more out there. There has to be something more than this. And see, that's what happened to me. And when I joined this organization called Wake Up Warrior, which was founded by Garrett J. White, who's the CEO and the founder, it was designed for men whose lives were train wrecks in what they call the core four of body, being, balance, and business. And I've been in that for a number of years, and it was designed to awaken men to the truth of who they were, who they are, and the possibilities of what they could be. And so these past years I've been in Wake Up Warrior as an attorney, trying to be an entrepreneur, I realized that my life was a train wreck too, and I was imprisoned within those four quadrants. I discovered that even though for the most part of my life, my body, I'd been healthy, I'd worked out, that there were so many things I didn't know and I didn't do. And I course corrected by getting regular physicals, regular dental checkups, joining the gym. Now I've hired 2 private trainers. I completely understand the nutrition game. And I still have a long way to go. In being, that deals with your relationship with God or whoever you believe in. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And I realized that my life was a train wreck on that road. And of course, corrected. And there's a reason, and again, depends upon your beliefs. There's a reason for the rules in Scripture. You deviate from them, and there's a hell on earth. Now, you may not believe that, but some of you out there are experiencing horrible things going on right now, whether it's in your physical fitness, your relationship with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse. There's something some relationship in your life that's just not working out. And, that's something that for me for a long time, I finally learned to course correct it and detox off toxic people and reestablish friendships and relationships with family members that I had not had for a number of years. And balance, oh my God. In the legal profession, you're lucky if you get time off. You do. I mean, it's relish because you really do. And even when you're on vacations, you can't stop thinking about the deadlines, what you have to do. Clients are burning up your emails, maybe your cell phone. The office is still calling, and you truly never get away. Well, I changed that up for me too, because I designed systems where my staff were equipped to handle things to where I took less clients, which we'll talk about in business in a minute. Still maintain my cash to keep profit margin of cash for me to keep, not just gross revenue. Took less cases and freed me up to go where I want to go, to do what I want to do, and to have the balance with my son and my other family members and my friends. And if I wanted to, just to take a day off. In business, that's the big thing. Some of you that are already in practice, you may be associates, and you are working for somebody else, making the money for them, slaving away. You law students have done maybe clerkships, maybe internships, but you don't know. That's just a 4 to 8 week thing, maybe in the summer, maybe part-time during the school year. But that's not the same as being what I call an active duty lawyer, where you're in the thick of shit every day, having to make payroll, retainer fees, billable hours, dealing with paralegals, dealing with the court staff, dealing with the judges, dealing with opposing counsel. It's all crazy town. It's crazy town. And that's why I'm on this mission, this sole purpose of Legal Warrior. Because for a lot of you, you're on the cliff. You are. Your lives are in such a mess from the pain that you're in that you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. And you don't know who to talk to. You don't know what actions to take. And for a season, I was there too. And now, a few years later, especially after being a Wake Up Warrior and focusing on me in body, being balance, and business, and setting targets in this thing that is called the impossible game of where do I want to be a year from now, 5 years from now? What can I do every month? What can I do every week to propel me toward the freedom to be me? And for those of you working for other people, or maybe just past the bar, the only real freedom you're ever going to experience is when you open your own law firm and you hire who you want. You set your own hours, you set your fees, you determine your value, and you command the battleship. Because that's what you should be seeking, is the freedom to be you. If you work for somebody else, if you work for the state or federal government, you'll never be free. Oh, you'll get an income, you'll get benefits. You'll go home and I go, oh, it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. No, it's not all good. Because at some point, you're going to hit the crossroads like I did. And you're going to look in that mirror. And you're going to be like, oh my God, what the hell has my life come to? See, there's this thing called pit to peak. The pit is, what is the hell that is going on in your life? Where are you right now today? What are the facts of your body being balanced in business? What are the facts? Are you fat and overweight? Are you obese? You look like shit? Do you feel like shit? Are you eating shit? Are you boozing it up, doing drugs? Where are you in balance? Are you going through divorce, breakups, or you have shitty relationships with your family members? I mean, where are you? Where are you in being? Do you really believe in anything? Do you believe God exists or he doesn't exist? I mean, what's your relationship? Or do you even care? Maybe you should care. Because maybe what you've been doing isn't working. And there's a reason why it's not working. Or in business. Okay, you're on salary. They're only going to pay you a certain amount per month. Maybe you get bonuses, maybe profit sharing. They'll throw you a few crumbs and a bone here and there. But you're under their total control. And they determine your value and your worth. And maybe you make junior partner, maybe make partner one day, but it's off in the future, and there's no guarantee. But here is a guarantee. You open your own firm, you run your own show, you are the senior partner. You determine how much you get paid. You determine what everybody else gets paid. You command the ship. When you go into war, you develop the strategies. See, you haven't had that yet. Most of you, if any of you. And I remember when I was, the first time I was an associate in private practice. I was on salary, threw me a few crumbs, nice office, blah, 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 bullshit. But the money I brought in, the bulk of it, went toward the top tier. Not for me. I was set on a salary. And after about 18 months, I kind of got tired of that. You know, something inside me said to move, to shift, to transform, to be something more than I was. And maybe, just maybe, you're at that period in your life. And if you're not, you should be. Or you can be the hamster on the wheel and keep running and running and running and hey, you'll get in good shape, all that running, but you'll end up where you started, which is nowhere. So I want you to think for a minute. If you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? If you could live wherever you wanted to live, where would it be? In the area of law, or if you own another business, if you could do it your way, what would you do differently than what you're doing now, working for somebody else? What is the pain that you're experiencing? And how do you get rid of the pain? I can tell you, I got rid of the pain. I just said, hell with this. I'm getting the hell out. I'm breaking free of the matrix. And I have been. And I am. I'm no longer a slave like I was to the court system. I'm no longer a slave to, oh, what's the standard of attorney fees in your community? Bullshit. I set my own fees. And my colleagues look at me like, really? I'm like, yeah, you could too. You just choose not to because you're scared you're going to scare people off. That's your problem, not mine. I hire the staff I want. Government jobs, you get the staff they give you. And then you can't get rid of them. And you're stuck. And then it sucks. There's great freedom along with great responsibility when you run your own firm. But the freedom outweighs the burdens. I mean, you're going to be responsible no matter what. You work for somebody else and you get a case on it, you're still responsible. And when shit hits the fan and you screw it up, they're going to toss you out the door. You have to remember in the legal matrix, I don't care what they tell you. I'm telling you, after 31 years, your senior partners don't care about you. They don't. Why should they? Why should they care about you? They care about their money, their families, and their futures. Why the hell? What makes you think they have time to worry about you? The only time they worry about you is making sure your ass is getting shit done and bringing in the billable hours. That's it. You're in this habit trail. You and your associates are all the little hamsters on the wheel, man. Spinning along. Running the errands, going to court, doing their bidding. And you're like, thank you very much for abusing me. Because really, that's what it is. You think it's a great opportunity. You're like, yeah, I got a job. Oh, yeah, okay, it is. I gave you a job. You got money. And they're going to remind you of it every day. And then there's going to come a point where you're like, why can't I do that? Why can't I own my own firm? Why can't I make the money they're making? And you know what? You can. You have to do what I did. See, that's what I did after about 18 months of, well, I mean, before I worked as an associate, I was working for the state government for about 7 months. It was okay. But it wasn't going to get me where I was going to go. And then 18 months working as an associate, worked for guys, a multimillionaire, smart. I mean, just impeccable. One of the smartest men this world will ever know. But at the end of the day, I knew that if I didn't get my freedom and break free, I would never rise to be free and do the things I want to do in the legal profession. And so one day I made that decision. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm going out on my own. Was I scared? Yeah. How did I feel when I did it? Ooh, fantastic. One of the first things I did was when I got my own cell phone. Then got an office, started buying my own equipment. And the first time I took in attorney fees, retainers, reservation fees, and I owned it, it was a great feeling. Nobody told me what to charge. I hired who I want. I had a law partner. And we started running things our way. If we wanted to leave at 12 o'clock on a Friday, we did. If we wanted to shut down on Friday, we did. If we wanted to take 2 weeks off at Christmas, we did. You work for somebody else, probably not going to happen. So see, you have to paint the picture of the pit, the picture of the peak. Pit's like, your life sucks. Peak is, ooh, here's utopia. And it's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending pursuit. You can't just sit back and go, oh, it's all good. I'm where I want to be. You're never where you want to be. And if you are, that's a problem. It's just like when I work out. I can always look better. I can always be more fit. And I have to be committed to doing it. In being, you can always have a better relationship with God. You can do what the hell He tells you to do and stop being an idiot and stop sinning. That shit will get you into trouble to ruin your life. It will. It almost ruined mine. It's not funny, man. It's bad. In business, how are you going to run your firm? I mean, you know, if you're not in charge, you take what you get. They tell you what you're going to take. So I want you to think about this. We're discussing this. You know, paint yourself a picture of how you look when your life's in agony. And what does a picture look like when it's like everything's great, especially in body being balance and business? I'm reaching freedom. I've reached freedom in a lot of areas. And it's hard. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's not ever easy. It just doesn't happen in like 2 days. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes commitment. And there are times when, you know, I backtracked a little bit and, you know, going, oh my God, you know, is this really what I do? It'd just be so easy to work for somebody else and I have more responsibility. And that lasts about 3 seconds. I'm like, oh, hell no. Been down that route. For me, I can never work for somebody else again. It just can't happen. I can't work for the state or federal government. I can't be somebody's associate. That will never, ever, 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 ever happen again. It can't. Once you open Pandora's box and you see the freedom and you feel the pain slipping away because you're now free to do what you want to do, what you need to do, there's no going back. But see, you haven't experienced that yet. You law students are still caught up in the awe of being in law school. That will end your third year of law school. You'll be sick of that shit. You don't want to pick up a book. You just want to get the hell out, take your bar prep course, pass the bar, and move on. The first 2 years won't matter anymore. You won't care. Nobody cares. The only thing anybody cares about is whether you pass the bar exam or not. Nobody cares about law review. Nobody cares about that shit. And they'll feed you and string you along in law school, but nobody gives a shit. You'll either have chemistry with the people you interview with for a job or you won't. That's what it comes down to. You're expected to pass the bar exam. They expect that. Ooh, you don't get a cookie for it. You're supposed to. They're like, congratulations. I'm like, I wouldn't congratulate pass the bar. Like, I'm going, bitch, you're supposed to pass the bar. I mean, you've been spent 3 years academic, took a bar prep course. You didn't pass it. That's your fault. You're stupid. You didn't do what you needed to do. You either passed or didn't. Well, I tried. You didn't try shit. You failed. Or you passed. You'll either win the case and win the money or you won't. If you lose the case, you lost. That's it. The end. But the position you sit in when you have the wins or the losses determine where you go from there. Because if you're in charge of your own firm, you can determine how you feel. When you're an associate, you screw a case up, they're going to jump in your shit. You're going to feel some pain. It's all about freedom. Pit to peak, pit to peak, pit to peak. And the gap in between. And for some of you, maybe a lot of you, you know what I'm talking about. It's true. You know you hate your life. You do. You know you hate where you work, and you do. You know you hate your bosses, and you do. You know some of you hate your staff, and you do. You know there's something better out there that you need to seek, and you do. You have to look at it in that phraseology, in that context. Do you just want to be ordinary? Do you just want to be another JD, another suit, man or woman, walking around, pontificating your legal bullshit and hating your life, going home at night and boozing it up, watching porn, and binging on Netflix and going, oh, it'll get better tomorrow. You know what? It doesn't get better. Not till you take action. If you don't get up off the ground, if you don't take charge of your life, if you don't develop your own law firm, your own practice, your own business, you will forever be a slave to somebody else. You'll never experience true freedom. I experienced true freedom. I experienced true freedom. There are days that are rough and days that are good. But you know what? At the end of the day, I make the command decisions. I do. Not somebody else. Not even the court system. The court system can schedule a trial for me. They can't tell me how to try it. They're not going to tell me what fees I can set. They're not going to tell me who I can hire for my staff. They're not going to tell me what benefit packages of health insurance, dental, or anything else I want to give to my employees or to me. They're not going to tell me how much cash I can keep when I earn it. They're not going to tell me that. I'm going to tell me that. Versus you being a slave to the matrix, to the system, in a state of government, federal government job, or working for somebody else because you're too scared to get off your ass and do what you need to do. And I was like that. I wanted that security for a while until the pain was too much. And the pain will get too much for you. And then what are you going to do? You don't know what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to pick up that phone. You're going to call, or you're going to email me. And you're going to hire me. And I'm going to lead you through the matrix of where you need to go. And if you're in law school and think you don't need to do that now, you're wrong. You need to do it right now. Even if you're an undergraduate in college, you're thinking about going to law school, you've been accepted, you need to get ahead of the curve, get ahead of the game. If you don't, you're going to be sucked in the abyss of bullshit in the legal matrix, and you'll never break free. You'll be a slave and hate your life, and 30 or 40 years from now, you'll be laying in a gutter divorced. Your kids will hate you. You'll have no relationships. Your body being imbalanced will have all been shit-canned in the abyss of destruction. This may sound harsh, but it's true. This is why I broke free. This is why I want lawyers to understand you don't have to live a life of slavery in this profession. You don't have to be consumed by the legal matrix. You know what you need to do. Stop dicking around. Stop screwing around. Stop procrastinating. Make the move. Contact me. Have the conversation. Hire me. It's a call to action. Your call to action is right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not next month. It's this very moment. You can wait and continue in the pit, or you can rise and go to the peak. The choice is yours, so choose wisely. Okay, that's a wrap. Bryce out.